In order to break down the purpose behind a pandemic, we need to understand the main objective of a virus. The saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, can be applied here because what a virus does, if it doesn't wipe out the body entirely, is serve as a means to discover weaknesses in a system, which then opens up the opportunity to assess the condition of the surviving structure and rebuild a stronger version. So, if we look at all of humanity as one body, you could say that a global pandemic serves as a catalyst for evolution, for change, for a strengthening of our current society. What is particularly interesting about the response to the coronavirus is that some of the hardest hit countries and areas are deciding to close down the schools, and companies that have the luxury to do so are requiring employees to work from home. What many people often fail to realize is that our modern education system was created in response to the Industrial Revolution, because when adults were working long hours in factories, children needed somewhere to go. So really, we're still operating on an 18th or 19th century factory model education system, while the workforce is actually beginning to shift towards more freedom and flexibility, at least in some fields. One of the unfortunate repercussions of stacking people on top of each other in factories, classrooms, cubicles, is the spread of illness. One could argue that it is unnatural for humans to be confined indoors in large groups for such a large portion of the day. In order to tackle this issue, we've created vaccines, human resource management, and sick day policies, but none of these band-aids address the root issue here. The increase in depression, anxiety, and chronic disease in our society continues to rise as we fail to notice that our foundation is faulty, or at the very least outdated. What the current virus, which the CDC is now calling a pandemic, is doing is causing us to examine the root issues in a modern civilization that in some ways hasn't evolved that much since the 18th century. And it would make sense that this virus originated in the country that we could call the world's factory. Our collective greed, materialism, and desire for cheap labor has created karma that has now literally spread across the globe. Karma isn't a punishment, though, but rather a learning opportunity that unfortunately often comes at a heavy price. The solution now is to start with more humane treatment of all of our brothers and sisters. No more human robot slaves. No more 50+ hour work weeks, where even the little amount of time off given is frowned upon when taken. No more sacrifice of our birthrights in the name of profit margin. If the loss of life is not enough, maybe the stock market plunge will wake us up. The world is ending as we know it, but the fear-mongering and doomsday prophecies are only feeding into fear, which then breeds competition and makes us susceptible to manipulation by those who may not have humanity's best interest in mind. It also, for some reason, causes people to hoard toilet paper. What is actually happening now is the end of a cycle that should bring forth a new, healthier, fulfilling way of life. Will there be tragedies and natural disasters during this transition? Yes, probably, because the ego often needs jarring wake-up calls to be broken down and finally submit to the soul, to the will of the universe. We are being called to let go of selfish actions grounded in greed and fear and shift towards oneness, wholeness, and love for our neighbors. Superficial changes will no longer suffice, as we are now in need of restructuring all of our institutions and systems and rebuilding from the ground up. And this time, Compassion for all must be our main intention. If you found worth in this video, please like, comment, and share to get the message out. The full version is also available on my YouTube channel. The link is in my bio. Likes, shares, and subscriptions there would be much appreciated. Namaste.